Good morning and welcome to this live IGTV, or maybe you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to you as well. Today I'm talking about my teenager hates me. That's a pretty steep statement, and I don't know about you, but when I even hear myself say it, I kind of get this like, ugh. I can feel it because I raised two teens, and I remember that stage, such incredibly painful stage of when I don't know if it was true or not, but I sure felt like it was true because I felt like they hated me. And there was nothing that I could do really to turn that around or to make it better. And boy, have I learned a lot since then. So I want to share some of that with you. My name is Allie Payne. I'm a certified life coach and certified relationship systems coach. One of only 70 people in Canada that holds both designations, actually. I've been helping parents of teens for the last 16 years to help them end this painful disconnection, emotional blow-ups, stressful silences to create healthy, lasting relationships based on trust and respect. So let's dig in. I want you to tell me if this sounds familiar to you, okay? Tell me if these sound familiar. He used to be such a happy, smiley kid who loved hugs. It's heartbreaking, and I'm struggling to love him through it and remind him he's loved and cherished. But man, this has been a rough time in my parenting, okay? I'm heartbroken. My 17-year-old daughter and us, we used to be really close, even though I was a healthy parent, not her friend. And now I'm dealing with entitlement, disrespect, and horrific daily devaluation. Or my daughter is now 14 and she doesn't communicate with me. I get the shoulder shrugs and I don't know. I have a messy life, anti-compliant, ungrateful, moody brat, and I love them, but what do I do? These are comments that parents write me all the time, by the way. Suddenly, nothing I do is right in his eyes. I miss that little boy that loved me and didn't see me as so horribly flawed. It just hurts, and I never expected this stage would be so hard. Ugh, that breaks my heart because I can feel it myself, having raised two kids who get saucy, right? And man, they can be hurtful. They're so belligerent towards anything that comes through me. They hate me. That's a powerful statement. The harder I tried, the worse I seem to make it. Every day I wake up with a fresh new attitude, thinking it's going to be such a nice day and maybe it will go well. Like maybe I'll go work out, maybe I'll go see a friend. But no, by 8 p.m., I'm hiding in my bed with tears in my eyes, just wanting the day to end. Type yes in the comments if any of these from these gorgeous, caring parents sounds familiar. Are these things that you've said to yourself? Are these things that maybe you've even uttered out loud to friends? Because wowzer. Why though? Why, right? Okay, well, I am going to tell all of you gorgeous people right now that you are not alone. You are not alone. I get comments from parents like this all the time. And these are good parents. You're a good parent, okay? This is a really hard stage in parenting through the adolescent years. So what is the first thing that you do to solve this? What is the first thing that you do to try and solve it? I can guess, because I've done it. Blame yourself. You blame yourself, right? You blame yourself because, and look, I can't say that enough. I know you deeply love your teenager and you deeply love you try and talk to them for sure. And when that doesn't work though, eventually, push comes to shove, hiding in bed with tears in my eyes, or wringing your hands, or sitting on the bathroom floor crying. I get messages from parents like that too. You end up blaming yourself because you care so deeply and you love them so much. So of course you want to be the best parent that you can for them and try and figure out this seeming mystery of how to communicate and connect with your teen, right? So then you end up taking on more than your share of responsibility in the relationship and for the relationship. Does it tell me, you take on more than your emotional share of the relationship, trying everything you can to regain that connection that you experienced with them before puberty stole their brain. Wondering why. Yes, you're wondering where you went so wrong. Oh my gosh. Yes. So you're blaming yourself, right? You're blaming yourself, and it's normal. Like it seems like the only option. Like, okay, well, I must have failed, right? So let's talk about the things you say inside of your head. Let's call those out for a sec, shall we? How does this sound? You should know better. Are these things that you say to yourself? You should know better. I mean, you're the adult and you have the developed brain. What's your problem? It's not that hard. No one else seems to be having this problem, so it's obviously your fault. You have obviously failed. You should just know how to do this. You're obviously falling short. If those are things that you're saying inside your head, where you're blaming yourself, oh, mama and dads. Yes. Why did I let my child? Yes. Yes. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. So here's the thing. Here's why that doesn't work. This is why blaming yourself, even though it might make all sense, it might make all kind of sense, even though blaming yourself might even feel a little bit noble, right? Like a good parent, blames themselves, and they like turn all of that pain inward on yourself. That's bullshit. So we're going to do that. And this is why blaming yourself doesn't work, okay? When you blame yourself, you think that blame or for yourself, right, is driving and motivating you to find a better way. The harder you are on yourself, the more motivated you'll be to find a better way, or at least a solution of some kind. Being hard on yourself does not motivate you to go and find another solution. Like, just keep trying. I mean, you've got to figure this out. Like, it actually isn't that motivating. In fact, you're probably talking to yourself just like your parents talked to you when you were younger and didn't get something right, or they felt you needed to work harder or better. Does that sound familiar? When your parents wanted you to try harder or didn't like your behavior, outside of perhaps consequence or punishment, they would be harder on you as a way to motivate you to change. Like, come on, like, that's not what we do in this family. I mean, we don't behave that way. You're going to have to figure this out. If you just try harder, then you won't step out of line. Or that whole being hard and berating to try and motivate, you might have learned it at home. So type yes in the comments if I'm hitting the mark here. That you think somehow the harder you are on yourself, the more it's going to help you to figure out another solution, right? I did the same thing to myself, okay? When I was raising my teens and my sons were going through super hard times, particularly my oldest who has ADHD and autism spectrum disorder, I literally used to tell myself that his brain was like that because I broke him. I used to tell myself it was my fault that he had ADHD and autism spectrum. It was something that I did. There was some way that I had effed up and not been a caring, loving parent that I wanted to be, and that's why his brain pathology was ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. Are you serious? Yeah, right? But this is what we do as parents. We blame ourselves. So, you all listening, it's not possible for me to have screwed up so bad that my son got ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. It's not a trauma response. We all know that, right? Okay, so here's the thing. You were never trained how to raise a teen. Like ever. If you're like me, you barely got 6 hours of training at a hospital on how to get the creature out of your body or like how to keep it alive for roughly 30 days. There is definitely and absolutely no training on how to parent a teen. So how would you know? My oldest he's 22 next month. One of the most incredible, coolest people that I know. Yeah, raising him was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Yeah, and he is unbelievably cool and fantastic. Right? It's trial and error. Thank you. It is trial and error because there's no training for how to raise a teenager. So you're using blame and shame on yourself. You're using blame and shame on yourself as if you should know a whole bunch of things that you were never told and you don't know. Right? Like, you're beating yourself up for something that you have no way of knowing the information. Okay? And here's how you know if you're doing it. Here's how you know if you're beating yourself up and blaming yourself to try and make the situation better with your teen. Here's how you know. It generally starts with should. It starts with the word should, okay? So you should know better. You should try harder. You should be more loving. You should be more patient. Do you hear all the shoulding in there? Should ends up leading to blame and shame. That's actually one of the roots of the word is an expectation, and it says you're not doing things the way I want you to do it. So when you're telling yourself that you just should, when you should on yourself, you blame and shame yourself. And here's the key part. I want you to hear this. When you blame yourself or shame yourself, you actually take yourself out of being part of the solution. Yeah. When you blame and shame yourself for the current state of your relationship with your teen, when things are hard, you take yourself out of being part of the solution. Yes. Oh, I see you. Please stop shooting all over yourself. No, you don't deserve that. No, mama, no. When you should all over yourself, blame and shame increase your stress response to what's already going on. So the more you blame and shame and should all over yourself, you are increasing your stress response to what's already going on. Stress increases anxiety, and it lowers your brain's natural access to new and creative solutions, making learning new strategies and tools even harder. I'm going to read that sentence one more time. Stress, which is you blaming yourself, stress increases anxiety and it lowers your brain's natural access to new and creative solutions, making learning new strategies and tools even harder. I hope you heard that. Is that landing for you? Type a yes in the comments. Does that make sense? Blame and shame lower your confidence and make every day even harder. Blame and shame lower your confidence of what you believe in yourself as a parent. Right. Gosh, all of you, such incredible people. I see you. And I'm just wanting to send a whole bunch of love through to you right now, because the blame and shame game, even if that's what you were taught or what you learned, it's not working. Confidence is required for resilience, okay? So the key factor is knowing that all of what's going on in your relationship with your teenager is not your fault. And persevering to find new ways to connect with your teen. Confidence is required for resilience. Okay? Keep making an effort to, yes, that's all you can do, but the blaming and shaming yourself, it actually is taking you out of being part of the solution. Do you understand that? It has a significant impact on your brain over time, okay? So this is why blaming yourself and beating yourself up for the current situation takes you out of the solution, because your brain can no longer access or has available to it all of the access to a solution. So what is the counterintuitive thing? What is the thing that you could be doing that actually is creating what you want? If it's not blaming yourself, then what's the answer? Well, it might sound like I'm saying, well, just let your teen suffer then. You just let your teen suffer. You just go be a bad, uncaring parent, selfish parent, and just let your teen suffer. No, that's not what I'm saying either. That might be what you heard. That's not what I'm saying, okay? You've got to lower your own stress response first, or you won't see your way through. In fact, if you don't lower your own stress response, you're going to keep digging yourself a deeper hole. Okay? How to talk to your moody teen. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Just stick with me. So stop believing, this is key. This is key. Are you ready? Stop believing that your actions control your teenager's emotions. Your actions do not control your teenager's emotions. That single belief is what keeps you in a blame and shame story with yourself every day. That belief was likely set up when you were young. And if your parents were angry or unregulated, emotionally unregulated, it was something you did. And your parents aren't bad. That was the belief of the time. We now know research and science has proven that that is not at all true. And so you just needed, when your parents were upset, you just needed to do something different. You needed to change what you were doing so they could be happy again. Right? You just needed to stop doing what you were doing or do more of something so that your parents would be happy again. You needed to be more pleasing to them so they didn't feel uncomfortable emotions. That belief, that's called codependency. And the current statistic is that our parenting generation, about 80% of us are codependent because of what we were raised to believe. And again, our parents aren't bad. That's what they thought then. But it's now we're parenting kids and we're forwarding this weird belief that somehow you believe that your actions are directly responsible for your teenager's emotions, which is scientifically and wildly untrue, okay? So your parents were never responsible for their own feelings or behavior. So you learned to try harder, do more, be more likable, and that belief and behavior pattern is now showing up with you as a parent. When you take yourself off the hook for feeling 100% responsible, okay, for your teen's mental health, for your teen's emotional state, challenging times, behavior choices, then you can lift your head up far enough to see other proven strategies and tools to begin to change the situation. Okay? Where do we start? Yeah, I'm just going to talk about the communication. Okay, so when you take yourself off the hook for being 100% responsible for all of your teenager's struggles, challenges, emotional choices, all of that, it lowers your stress level. So then you access creative thinking, which makes learning new skills and actually implementing new skills way, way easier on your brain. Way easier on your brain. Oh, type your aha. I would so love that. share. I'm glad you're having an aha. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being open-minded and sharing that. Okay, so when you've got to stop blaming yourself in order to actually help your brain to lower its stress so that you can make learning new tools and strategies and actually implementing them, because let's face it, right? Implementing new stuff just feels hard and awkward sometimes, especially if it doesn't work the first time and it takes more than one time to see the results. When your brain is under extreme stress and you're blaming and shaming and shooting all over yourself, that's harder, way harder. Okay? So because in relationships, it is absolutely impossible for you to take on the full responsibility of the whole relationship. It's not possible. So your brain has a way higher chance of success when you see yourself as part of the solution, not the whole solution. You set yourself up for success to have the connection and relationship you want with your teen when you stop thinking that you are the whole solution and start believing the truth, which is you are part of the solution. Does that make sense? Yeah, the harder you try and please your teenager, the worse this is going to get. The worse it's going to get, because it's not your teenager's job to deem you as pleasing. You already are. You already are. It's not about you. Nope, you're right. You are right. Yeah, listening, validate. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, here's what you need to do. If you catch yourself shooting on yourself, the moment you feel yourself saying one of those statements to yourself, I'm failing, I'm a failure, I'm doing this wrong, there must be something wrong with me. What's your problem? You should just know how to do this. You are blaming yourself and taking yourself out of being part of the solution. So this is what one of the parents told me. This is what one parent told me who took my program. Well, actually a couple. She said, today I feel like I have more knowledge thanks to this program and I'm taking things less personally. Another mom said, now my daughter wants to talk to me, hang out with me. She's laughing more and she's even asking my advice. What she needed most was for me to not take things so personally and react like she was rejecting me. Wow, right? The moment this mama stopped taking things so personally and always reacting like she was feeling rejected, which made it her fault and problem to try and be part of the solution, her daughter actually started engaging with her, wanting to hang out, wanting to laugh with her, and even asking for her advice. So if your relationship is not what you would like with your teenager and it feels hard or maybe even hurtful, and you want to hear more about Be Like That Mama, you want to hear more about my proven 3-step framework so that you can be part of the solution and not the whole solution, so you can experience that connection, that easier and kinder conversations that you probably used to have, then tap on my name and there's a link in my profile, and my signature program is opening April 3rd, where I'm going to be, it's scientifically backed, my 3-step framework proven for thousands of parents, including my own kids. So it opens April 3rd and you can get on the wait list by tapping on my name. Then there's a link in my profile, or if you're here on YouTube and Facebook, there'll be a link below this. You wanted me to repeat. I think what I said is, I think I was reading that mom's comment. In order to create the kind of connection that you want with your teen, the easier, kinder conversations, what this mama did was, she stopped taking everything so personally and reacting as if her daughter was rejecting her. Because the moment she took it personally and the moment that she made up a story that her daughter was rejecting her, then she also made up the story that she was solely responsible for pleasing her teen. for fixing all of the relationship. And it's not true. Because the more you blame yourself, you continue to take yourself out of being part of the solution because your brain is so stressed, your anxiety is high, your confidence is low, your resilience is low. You actually, this is proven in science, your brain has way less access to new and creative solutions to change the situation. It makes learning new strategies and tools way harder, let alone implementing anything new. Because your resilience, if it doesn't work the first time, or confidence to even try it is low, so you're not likely going to try it again. So this whole blame game, you got to stop this. It's not working for you. It's not working. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for sharing with me today. I so appreciate you all for being here. Again, my signature program with my proven 3-step framework on how that mama made that shift herself. If you tap on my name and then there's a link in my profile, make sure you get on that wait list for that. Or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, there'll be a link below this. Thanks everybody. I'm so grateful for you. Have a great weekend. Bye.